Hey, I'll never be given work as a culture repair, so I'm gonna start a series. Now, if you hired me as a culture repair, then of course it'd be a totally different attitude or approach or style I'd use. But, we are in the end game of the Anthropocene, so 2023 is a very significant year that many of the people primates from Earth will start being unable to deny the patterns that they are experiencing and that is reported on the news, because the news knows people still want to travel and they see things happening in another country and they have to report it at some point, even though they're late doing it, to give people an idea of what those patterns were when it would have been more useful. So, hey, I came from a place where I see a lot of the staff, let's say, at the gas station kind of just waiting for customers to come in. And it's becoming more and more automated. So, a lot of time they don't need to come in. And I see like they're not cleaning, for example. And let's use East India, because a lot of the gas stations and fast food places is East India. And you can statistically go verify the cleanliness of the toilets, let's say, and the bathroom sinks and things like that. And you might say, Martin, that's racism. No, it isn't. It's cultural patterns. So I don't know if we're supposed to talk about cultures, or I don't know if anthropology is about to be outlawed in most countries during the Anthropocene. But so what I'm saying is that it is commonly measurable that you'll see staff not doing anything while the toilets are dirty. Now, a lot of, let's say, the old guys that go have breakfast there, they'll be outraged because they like the people. This is for them like traveling to India, they're worldly and they'll defend the people, and mostly they have toilets at home. They may or may not be cleaner at home. But it also shows they don't care. They don't care about spreading disease or basic hygiene, or that other people would prefer not having to clean their toilet seat 9.7 out of 10 times that they go use a public bathroom where they are a paid customer like I was. Like they're just defending the status quo. Like, I'm arriving here in this Scout Island place, and there's an old guy looking at me as I'm driving my motorhome for the first time in this area to park. And he's looking at me like, does this guy think he's going to stay here or what? Or what? Like, he's looking at me like really weird as he's passing by in the car. Like, what's up with this guy? Is this a drug addict? What is it? And very likely he's making assumptions. And then you'll say, Martin, you're making assumptions right now. Well, not really. I'm making a generalization, like I am about East Indian culture. And it's not like an assumption where an assumption could be like outrageously wrong. And it's not necessarily a pattern like generalizations of cultures, for example. So it's very different concepts of ignorance. And yes, I could be wrong. But the thing is I've had conversations with old guys that look at me like that and try to find out, what they think, by just having general conversation with them. And, I figure these things out. I could still be wrong, right? But the thing is he thinks, oh, is this guy going to ruin this place here? As if I would ruin the place here by living in a motorhome. While this old guy might, have a motorhome too, travel here, there, for his retirement, he's the one that's ruining the planet. And he's the one that's supporting industry like this, right? So, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, until we have the conversations, which nobody seemed to want to have. So as a culture repairer, what I'd say is, well, let's say, I talked before about the climate catastrophe and the other stupid things like magical monetary paradigm that's creating refugee status. Refugees traveling all over the world and dying with their kids on boats that are capsizing in cold water, or they just nobody's helping them anyways when they fall out, maybe because there's not a lot of rations or whatever it is. That's from the same people, right? In desperate mode. Well, there's a way, as I said before, to turn immigration, which is inevitable, even within countries, not just from other countries, even within provinces. Like there's people saying that maybe, and this is a bit of propaganda from a news station from East India, and about how there's vents opening up, and it could be the time we get the big earthquake like on the West Coast, and it could be. But they're just sensationalizing things just to kind of distract attention a little bit outside the dysfunctionality of their own nation, which has a lot to do with East Indian people coming here because it's unhealthy there. And we can go back to unhealthy for biological creatures like land mammals when it comes to basic hygiene and access to water. So here there's access to water, and yet they don't clean. Yet the toilets are dirty. And we'll spread diseases more when they come because we can't wash our hands. We can't care about basic hygiene. We can't teach it. We can't have conversations about it. We can't expect it as paid customers. Even if you like somebody, like people defending them, would say, hey, I like that person. Known them for a long time. Who are you? Get out here, stranger. And you're not even Canadian or whatever. I had a guy tell me this in the north of Ontario because I drove a car he'd never seen before. And with a British Columbia license plate, but I guess he didn't know that's Canada. When I was in the north of Ontario doing research about his redneckism and that of others. So when you're kind of arguing for the wrong things, it's a great way to not have conversations about the right things. So, for example, if that old guy likes them and they like him and he's a regular customer, couldn't he say one time, hey, I went to use the bathroom, or my friend did, and I gotta say, most of the time you don't need a special light or glasses. You can see how dirty it is. And he doesn't even have to say, I see you guys standing there a lot on your phones. And maybe, you can use some of that running water and detergent that you have. And so a way to kind of do immigration rules to leave the bad in another country, take their good, don't take our bad, take our good, and create the good, is the government could say, hey, yeah, we'd love more people from there, East India, except, and you guys love to spend your entire lives behind a counter selling stuff once in a while and even stealing from each other, and well, then it's great. Yeah, you can do that. We'll sponsor the visa, except you got to do this course, food safe, WMIS, other things, and then you have to agree that we will come evaluate the cleanliness of the area more. And then, whoa, that's not fair. Why would they? Well, it's because it's measurable cultural patterns. I'm not making this stuff up. It's measurable in their country. It's measurable when they come here. And again, this sounds redneck, as if I believe a country's better than another country. No, I don't even believe the idea of countries reflects intelligence. But I'm saying these are measurable patterns. And yes, you want to come here? Yes. You want to do these jobs that other Canadians don't want to do? Then yes, we'll just we want to be sure that we're cleaner so when there's the next epidemic, they'll be less likely to spread. This is common sense, people. This is a win-win scenario, but it requires effort, including the effort of having honest conversations about cultural patterns.